It was kind of like everything's rushed, like every minute, every quiet minute has to be intentional, and there's just so much into that I feel like, you know, the space of theater, and this is what I tried to explain, like the space of theater that allows for repetition, allows for the ordinary, allows for space, is something that I want to bring forward into the web. Hello!
Hey!
How's it going? So where are we, Jenna?
So we're at Avignon at a Frames festival that's taking place in a beautiful castle called the Palais des Papes. And
I wanted to talk about how beautiful this city is.
Yeah, because I don't know, I was so right when I got out of the gare, I was so endeared by the beauty of like the beauty and how it's ancient. Also, you know, like the medieval aspect, les remparts en pierre, the beautiful castle, and then the cute little streets and everything. I remember I was arriving with my Parisian mindset. I was like, okay, well, I have to go quickly, I have to walk quickly, I have to get there quickly. And I noticed people around me just walking slowly and all of that, and just being chill. And it was really, really, really nice. So this is des Ailes, I guess. It's like a store.
What does des Ailes mean?
I think it means like where there's shopping, I guess. But it's beautiful how they put plants, actual plants on it. It's so full of nature, Avignon. Like it's cette belle place, this beautiful tour.
It's so great because like you find like all the beautiful stuff.
It's nice to show the beautiful stuff in the world. Yes, show the beautiful stuff. Oh, I didn't even mean to say that. Show your face. I didn't even think about it. Like so funny.
We are also here for our first ever pitch together, and it's at the Frames Film Festival.
Yes.
And it's with this thing called the SACD, which is the Theater Actors Writers Guild, kind of like they protect the rights of the writers for theater. And essentially it was an opportunity that was offered to like, you know, YouTubers, and I was just like to Jenna, like I think we should write this together. We came up with it together, and then we came here and we had a little thing about not being able to pitch together, which I think is like one of the biggest frustrations for me. It's like, oh, you can collaborate with someone, but then there's only one person who's going to be at the forefront.
And that is so sad. I mean, that's so
Frustrating.
Yeah, frustrating. We both did as much work. I mean, okay, I get since everybody else is just one person, but they should have communicated it better, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to say, like, yeah, of course, like, this situation's like because like the YouTube channel took a really long time to, you know, get to that point so that it gets like, you know, recognized and everything. But I was so inundated with like work from university that like if Jenna didn't take like, you know, the bulk of the work towards the end to make sure that the work is actually like translatable, we wouldn't have submitted. So it was very important, like towards the end I was just like, it is absolutely unacceptable if her name is not on like
on the poster
at the back. And also like I obviously made it a point to like keep referring to her like during like the pitch. And do you want to talk a bit about like the formation that we had? What are we doing?
We are going up to a formation pour nous préparer for our pitch.
Oh.
We're going to prepare ourselves for our pitch, and they're going to accompany us and in this nice old building. Well, yeah, artsy.
Old building. And how do you feel?
I'm not too nervous because it's just a formation.
What?
I feel excited to learn stuff.
What?
Yeah. But how do you feel?
How do I feel? I'm really happy that you're here.
Oh, thank you. Best thing you could have said. Oh, right, so where are we?
Yeah, I know. So I took us the wrong direction and now we're back here.
So the day before, yesterday, we had a formation with a super nice guy who made us really feel confident for the pitch, yeah. And so we were with 4 other people who are also going to do the pitch today, and
it's interesting because all our ideas were like super different.
Yeah. Opened our minds to different kind of formats of mise en scène, and it was inspirational. There's one person that we liked especially, Lebanese queen, as he calls himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, super beautiful connections, and even though I'm not doing the pitch, I'm still super grateful I'm here. Like, it's a super beautiful experience.
So what happened after was that we got back to the hotel, and then like, you know, Jenna came up with like the storyline, like the basic structure of the story, and then I added like, you know, the elements or so-called tangents that gave the reasons why these moments are really important, or what is the metaphor or what is the underlying meaning behind it. and then we just like, you know, ran through it, and then like, you know, we came into an agreement of like what is essential, what's unessential, like, because for me, like, as you guys know, like I love analogies, and but at the same time, like what is important is clarity, and I think like that is something that Jenna is really really good at identifying.
Yeah, clarity and the importance of a concrete story that people can project themselves in.
Exactly, yeah. I think like that was something that really, one of the things that she said that made me go like, oh, okay, I see this better. It's like you give them a stable frame so that they can project themselves in it, and then so that they can relate to it, and then after that, then you go into the abstraction. I think like one thing that was really helpful with Dante, but he was definitely like a wealth of information, was to talk about like, you know, phrases fortes, like strong phrases. So it's just like, for me, I was just like, you know, as a presenter, as a thinker, as like all these things about like, you know, transferring knowledge and information, that was something that I found really helpful in understanding that like you can have like a giant thing that you want to talk about, but then like to have like moments where you're like, this is important, and then you take that beat, and then you actually like kind of like know where it is that your point lands, I think was very helpful for me. I think there was one other thing I wanted to add,
Right.
which is like the idea of this other person who came in, the one who like wanted to do like this guy who came back and then like, you know, wanted to put up a play that he wrote like 30 years ago in like Tartuffe. And I was asking him like why Tartuffe and why now? And I basically asked him like, c'est quoi l'urgence de ta pièce, quoi? Like what is the urgency behind what you're
And I
writing?
didn't quite understand in the beginning. I was like, and then, yeah, what's the importance, you know? Like, why does it need to be told for you?
And then I basically just asked him, like, I was like, you know, everyone has a reason for why it is that they love theater, but why is it important to you? I think like that's when I saw like a shift in his eyes. Unfortunately, I don't think that it really showed in his pitch that he understood that critique.
You didn't change too much today. Still talked a lot about the story itself, but not enough about,
Why?
why, yeah,
Why
the
is it important?
intentions, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a great learning experience, so you have to do balance between both.
Yeah, we're all learning, which is
Yeah.
like super great. And I think the thing that's really fun about this whole approach is that all five of us are winners, and it was just this thing that we're not competing with each other. Of course, like there's still a bit of like you know, people wanting to do really really well, but overall, like I think we both agreed that it felt like a very supportive space.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hope that our projects were very different, so not producers aren't maybe interested in ours if they're interested in another project that's really different. But no, super supportive space, and just all the artistic community of this place, of this
Yeah.
palace is
Yeah.
amazing.
So,
Okay.
what did you think about the pitch? Because I delivered it, so let's hear what Jenna thought.
Well, just little part was like the question afterwards, lien entre, the link between web and théâtre.
Right.
That I guess like we knew kind of the answer, but that's not really our intention through what we're making, you know.
Yeah.
Even though we sent our thing to this festival, yeah.
Maybe I'll explain. So the way that I responded was basically like I already had in mind that, you know, I think that they were expecting some kind of hybrid of like the web and also like theater, which is basically what like other people were more pushing towards. But I didn't feel like there was this like Frankenstein thing in what we were doing. What I tried to express was that like I feel like there's this thing that I really like from Fassbinder's Berlin Alexanderplatz, and I think that the success of like what it is that he did, that I think is very, I've not seen anyone else do it, which is to be able to translate something that is very particular to the art of theater, which is this space given to repetition, to the mundane, to the ordinary, which is something that me and Jenna really really promouvoir dans notre travail, which is something that's really
Put forward.
important to us. Yeah. And it was just like what I said was like, okay, I believe like this is something that we can bring to the web, you know, we can like, for people who don't understand or who haven't had like this experience, because I think also like people have too high expectations of like going to the theater as if it's supposed to change their world without actually like giving it a chance. But I think like, I mean, this is a very long like philosophical thing, because I worked in theater in Topanga for Shakespeare for my internship when I was in California. There's just like, you know, something that you really gain from doing something without expectations. And I think that's something that happens with rehearsals in theater, because like when you do rehearsals for film, like everything's so expensive. So it was kind of like everything's rushed, like every minute, every quiet minute, it has to be intentional, and there's just so much into that I feel like, you know, the space of theater, and this is what I tried to explain, like the space of theater that allows for repetition, allows for the ordinary, allows for space, is something that I want to bring forward into the web. I talked a bit about like the lower attention span, and about this idea of like, you know, how it is that online or in films, like there has to be some kind of culmination point. But I feel like in theater, there's kind of like, I didn't say this part really correctly or clearly, there's just this intimacy, I think I did, like this intimacy in theater that I feel like we can try to share it with people online, but only after it has its feet and it's found its people and found its right actors in the theater space, then to have it transposed. And I think that is the success of what Fassbinder did in Berlin at Alexanderplatz, which is like one of his latest works, because he's already worked with this troupe of actors for a really, really long time who are theater actors. And that's why I think like there's a magic to that specific series.
Yeah,
which
that's
I didn't
beautiful.
say all of that in French, but yeah.
But no, I think you made it clear at the end. So I thought that was interesting, that point that you brought up at the end. And j'aimais bien, I liked your tonalité assez légère and how you made it seem pretty concrete, you know, with the little examples you made.
Thanks to your framework.
Yeah.
There was this story, I was just kind of, like yesterday, I'm just like, you know, like I felt so attacked, like philosophically, because I would say stuff like, you know, à partir des éléments, il a récupéré. It's like from these elements he begins to like find these, you know, fragments of his daughter, and then Jenna's just like, can you give examples of elements?
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, what elements? Like, they won't understand. I was like thinking in the spectator point of view.
Yeah, which is really helpful.
Yeah, no, I think that helped. I think it was really, people could visualize it well. I mean, at the end when you're talking about freedom and love.
The tension,
yeah.
I think like from my point of view, when I'm looking at the people in the room, there were a few people whose eyes were just like, when I said like, you know, our work is the tension between freedom and love. Mm-hmm. How do you be your own person without losing your parents? And like the landing moment for me was this line that I wrote, which is like, it's a choice for the continuity, to be with our loved ones in all their evolutions. And I think like the word evolutions was something that Jenna brought in during our pitch, that I was just like, this is one of the most important words to bring in. So like, you know, when that line like came up, I was just like, this is like this whole new layer that we found that we didn't have from like our initial pitch, which is growth, I think.
Growth, which is different from evolution.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean growth is in like for our project.
Oh yeah,
that you think that like you come here, you already have something that's completely done, but then like, you know, you keep reworking it, you understand the environment, and then your project keeps growing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Jenna, what is your favorite part of this festival?
Well, I think, I guess the connections we made, the few connections, especially this one lady who was really enjoying her stay there. Like she basically, should I say her name? This nice lady. Mm-hmm. She worked for Arte before, but now she works for the committee who selects, you know, fictions, you know, in the region.
Mm-hmm. The south of France.
In the south of France. And she was just a really gentle, kind soul, and nice to talk to, and super like patient and open to like all of our questions and everything.
Yeah, so like when we sat down, like she was so sweet. She was like, I guess I'm gonna present myself. And then like, you know, we were just talking, and I was like, you know, I was trying to ask this question, like, which is something I asked Dante as well after, but I was trying to ask this question of like, you know, like what do you think is missing in the story? I feel like right now, based on what I'm watching, we have a lot of like strong heroine characters, but like that they don't do everything that's completely just, you know, they're like human and fragile and really strong and all that stuff. And essentially I was just like, you know, I'm wondering like what's next, like c'est quoi la tendance? And she was like giving a lot of different answers about the criteria. We realized that the story is really important, but it's really not as important as two things. One, which is the criteria of like, you know, how feasible it is, like, you know, in a production standard. And the second is that work that makes people work. Like she said that like their projects that are really good to take is the one that gets a lot of people jobs, which is something that is really interesting. But the other thing that she said, when she kind of like misunderstood what I was saying, but it was also great advice, because I think she thought that I was wondering like, how do I satisfy a demand, because I'm asking about what's next. But basically like there was this one point that she just said to me like, you know, you guys aren't selling soap. You need to stand behind your project and like support it. So it's not about like, you know, whatever it is that people are looking for. You don't focus on that. Focus on like just supporting your idea, because again, it's you're not selling soap. And I was just like, that is such a great.
You mean like don't focus on what you want people to like? Don't focus on what the public wants, but on what you want to make? Is
Yeah,
what,
like support your idea. Stand behind your idea.
And be firm about it, like confident.
Yeah, don't try to sell soap because you're not selling soap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true. And it links to what Julie said too about like
Authenticity.
authenticity and being not lying to yourself. Yeah, being just like saying what you want.
He said like it's about making what you want to see. That's gonna give you like inherent like cohérence dans your travail, like this coherency. And it's also like the best guiding factor that you have, because he said that if you want to do something that pleases people, you're always trapped in the past because it's based on what it is that they currently want. And I think he said this other thing that was really interesting as well. Sorry, we're sitting under the sun. Let us reflect for a moment. I think like he said something about I remember pedagogique.
Yeah, connecting with the users and explaining to them why you're doing this,
So
why
then,
it's important.
Sorry, I keep cutting
No,
you
sorry,
off.
sorry, go ahead. Why it's important to you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think like I asked him, I was like, what's the difference between like pedagogy and justifying yourself? Because as you guys know, and I don't know when this video is coming out, but like I took my first 1 month break in a really long time because I'm overwhelmed with, you know, all the projects that are going on and university. And I was just like, at what point is it like justifying yourself, and at what point would you start like running into this idea that you have constraints based on expectations, and you no longer make things that you think like people are interested in wanting to see, because you're just like hoping that you keep your community or people who are supporting you happy, you know? So then he just said like, no, all you're doing is that you're informing people and you're educating people and you're giving them information and telling them like what you're doing. So I thought that was like really helpful.
I can't say one other thing about Gilles or not.
Yeah, sure.
Well, it connects with what you said about him a bit, but like how he believes that in the people who follow YouTubers, there's a community. There's people who connect with the person as he is, you know, and then there's people who also mostly connect for like what he makes, like want to learn what he makes. And so even if you don't make something great, or if you're not there that much anymore, people who enjoy your presence will still stick with you. And so that was really reassuring when he said that, because the idea of making a YouTube channel is pretty grand and like intimidating, I guess. And so when he said that, I was like, yeah, it could be nice to make a community who connects with me as a person, and not just with the content I say, yes, that I say.
Yeah, I think like the last thing that we I guess like can talk about is like the imposter syndrome seminar that we both found extremely helpful. This idea of, you know, am I supposed to be the expert? There's like the whole world now judging my work and not just like, you know, the little me. And I guess if you guys don't really know like me from the very beginning, like the first 2 years were very like sexist and racist. I'm not saying that they don't appear anymore, but I think I've said this before, but like that video that got my channel to be monetized was a video that I literally was about to post in defiance of like, you know, certain comments that were just extremely unnecessary and also cowardly. Like I'm just like, you know, my friend like once said to me, it's just like, when I told him about like negative comments, and he was just like, "Où est-ce que tu sors pour me dire ça?" Like, where do you even come from to say that? The thing that I found helpful was like I posted it anyway. I posted it being like, even though like this video like everyone's gonna see a lot of like holes in it because it was like a Zizek video, it was really complicated, I still wanted it to go up because I'm just like, you know what, I'm human. I never hide the fact that I'm a student. And I know that people are gonna come for me, and no one came for me, which is like really. Oh, sorry, someone's like calling us. I think it's one of the producers, but it's okay. We'll just finish this really quickly. But yeah, like, you know, I posted it anyway, and it turned out to be the best thing for my channel, and like it got me like invited by like people to go to Prague to have my conference because that was the video that they referenced. I guess the last thing I want to add was just like the thing that they said was like, have a list of really good comments, and that's what I really do. I really appreciate everyone who like takes the time to like write about how my work has positively affected their lives. I think like one of the biggest prides that I have nowadays is I'm doing like a head count of how many people that tell me that they go back into university or take up a course because they were inspired by my videos. So I thank everyone for sharing that and for supporting my work.
It's beautiful.
Do you want to add anything else?
I liked the whole seminar, and I think many YouTubers, and not only YouTubers, but everybody should look up about imposter syndrome, and because
we all have our place.
We all have a place that's justified, and we shouldn't doubt ourselves. Yeah.
We shouldn't let other people take us down, and we should be our own number one supporter, I think.
Yeah, just keep doing it. Keep doing what you want. Keep practicing.
Keep practicing.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna end on that because the producer is calling us. But yeah, talk to you soon.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.